Was the big dog Roman Reigns' run in WWE really as bad as some people make it out to be? My answer is no. Now, there were some moments when it was very insufferable because of his presentation and his booking, and I think the fans just got tired of WWE trying to force feed Roman Reigns as the top guy down the fans' throats. Like, we get it. You want Roman Reigns to be the top guy, but it feels very forced, and the fans didn't like that stuff, so they were going to reject it no matter what. But I wouldn't say, before we talk about the bad, because I'm going to dive into the bad years of Roman Reigns and how bad they were with him as the big dog, just because of his presentation, though, and him as a performer, all his years as the big dog weren't bad. 2014 to 2017, I honestly think were pretty solid years for Roman Reigns for what he was given. Like, his match quality was good. Go look at Roman versus Randy Orton at SummerSlam 2014. Very good, solid match right there. Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan, Fastlane 2015. That was a very good, entertaining match right there. His match against Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 31, I think that over exceeded anybody's expectations because this is like one of the most unhyped WrestleMania main events where I really didn't feel or believe Roman Reigns had reached that level to be like a true WrestleMania main event guy, especially against someone like Brock Lesnar at that time frame. But they were cooking, bro. Even before Seth Rollins came out and cashed in, this match was cooking tremendously, bro. His match against Big Show at Extreme Rules in 2015, one of the most underrated last man standing matches of all time, if you ask me. Great last man standing match. His match against Bray Wyatt at Hell in a Cell in 2015, not only was that a really good ending to that feud, but the overall feud in general was really, really good. That's when Bray Wyatt was doing the anyone but you, Roman, anyone but you. Like, they had a really good feud throughout the summer, and it ended in a very good Hell in a Cell match right there. In 2016, he had two bangers against AJ Styles at Payback and Extreme Rules for the WWE Championship. Money in the Bank against Seth Rollins, another good match right there. Kevin Owens, Royal Rumble 2017. His matches with Braun Strowman, whether it was at Fastlane or, Great Balls of Fire, the matches he had with Braun Strowman on Raw. Like, they had a very good feud also that year in 2017, which you could maybe even say was feud of the year, if we're being honest. This is a storyline and a feud where both guys came out looking good because it helped propel Braun Strowman up as a monster, and Roman Reigns still was, even affected by this because he still was in a good position where he helped elevate somebody else up, but also kept his spot and maintained who he was. So, that storyline and feud and the matches they had were pretty solid. John Cena, No Mercy 2017, very good, solid match right there. Like, Roman Reigns has had a lot of good matches as the big dog. His presentation may not have been what people wanted it to be, and I 100% totally understand that. But his years as the big dog weren't always bad. However, though, there were some very bad years of Roman Reigns' booking as the big dog, and that was 2018 and 2019, and we're going to talk about how atrocious those years were and why they honestly really almost damaged Roman Reigns as a performer. Like, he may have never recovered if he never turned into Tribal Chief. Now, as always, you want to make sure to subscribe, like, share, comment below, and turn on the notifications to be updated with all pro wrestling content right here on this channel, and to be updated when we go live every Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time Zone for the No Name Wrestling Podcast. You don't want to miss out on that. But this is the main reason I said Roman Reigns may have never recovered if he never turned to the Tribal Chief. Now, yes, if he had remained the big dog throughout his whole existence in WWE, would he still have been a first ballot WWE Hall of Famer? 1,000% for sure, he still would have been a first ballot lock for the Hall of Fame. However, Roman Reigns went from being a guy who was barely even cracking like top 10 conversations all time for many people to now being a guy who they literally put in GOAT conversations. And that all was because of the reinvention that he had going from the big dog to the Tribal Chief. And the last 2 years of the big dog were something that honestly need to be studied because Roman Reigns really needed that reinvention more than anything. Let's start with the year 2018. Let's start in the beginning of the year, the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. Now, going into this match, it was the first ever 7-man Elimination Chamber, and most of us already got the feeling and the idea that Roman Reigns is going to be the winner of this match. We already kind of just know that going into it, but how they booked this and how they did it has been a major issue with Roman's character as the big dog over the years. They were just not even trying to make Roman look too strong, bro. They just had bad booking for him all around that it's made hard for a lot of the fans to really want to root for him and like him, bro. In this match, Braun Strowman cleared competition, eliminated every single competitor in this match. Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, John Cena, Elias, bro. Everybody in this match got to work. Everybody you could think of, except for one person, the one individual he couldn't beat and didn't beat that majority of the fans didn't want to see win was Roman Reigns. And this is why a lot of people had a lot of issues with Roman around this time frame, is because of booking situations like this. And this is one of the major issues they also had, pulling the trigger on Braun Strowman to solidify him maybe as the most dominant big man ever if they really wanted to, because he had all the credibility and every box checked off to do that if he had the right booking behind him. But every single time Every time they needed to pull the trigger to give him that big win to solidify his credibility and momentum even more, they never did it. And this is one of those scenarios. Now Roman Reigns wins this match, which means he goes to WrestleMania to fight who? Brock Lesnar. Yeah, you know how WWE loves to tell us every single year whoever wins the Royal Rumble goes on to the main event of WrestleMania and fight for the world championship of their choosing. Yeah, that's been dead for like generations, for decades damn near. That hasn't been a thing that's existed in who knows how long. That only happens like, every certain year, maybe even spaced out between time, but that doesn't happen every single year because in 2018, both Asuka and Shinsuke Nakamura won the Royal Rumble and neither were in the main event of WrestleMania. Instead, it was Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns, who were like the two most hated guys among majority of the audience around that time frame. Brock Lesnar was part-time, and there were so many people not only sick and tired of his part-time schedule, but they were sick and tired of him, not having that many good matches, his lack of storylines that really weren't that good and interesting. And then you had Roman Reigns, who was the company guy that they, were investing into and wanted to be like their top babyface, like the babyface that John Cena once was. They really wanted Roman Reigns to be in that position, and the fans were just, rejecting it year by year, and year by year, honestly, the boos got louder and louder. And I'm not even exaggerating when I say this. This is one of the top 5 worst WrestleMania main events of all time. It's easily one of the top 5 worst WrestleMania main events of all time, bro. I'll never forget when Brock Lesnar hit Roman Reigns with 5 straight F5s in a row, and Roman Reigns kicked out. That thoroughly pissed me off because I'll never forget when he fought guys like Samoa Joe and guys like Braun Strowman, and he beat them with only 1 F5. 1 F5. Mind you, Samoa Joe and Braun Strowman, their characters around that time frame were way more dominant and believable, than Roman Reigns to beat somebody like Brock Lesnar at that time frame. And they were more fan favorites that people actually wanted to see beat Brock Lesnar, at that time frame more than Roman Reigns. And it would have made more sense for them to beat somebody like Brock Lesnar more than Roman Reigns around that time frame. But this man, Roman Reigns, got hit with 5 F5s in a row. One of them was even through the announce table. And then he got thrown back in the ring, hit with another F5, and he still kicked out, bro. That was outrageous. And then Roman Reigns got cut open legit the hard way with, them sharp elbows, that Roman Reigns got hit in the head with by Brock Lesnar. And the fans still didn't care. Roman Reigns was bleeding profusely, and they don't even do blood in WWE around this time frame. It's still a PG product, and the fans still didn't care. They didn't care at all, bro. And we thought Roman Reigns was going to win. Most of us expected him to win, and we're like, all right, let's get it over with. Let Roman get the championship, and let's go from there. He loses! Then they have Brock beat Roman, and then you're like, what's going on here? Now where we're going from here? Now they're going to have to extend this feud that nobody wants. And they did just that. The first ever show they had in Saudi Arabia, the Greatest Royal Rumble, they had Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns in a steel cage match. You're like, okay, you know what? They want Roman Reigns, to win the championship in Saudi Arabia. Their first show over there. They want that big, good feeling. Okay, whatever. And then Roman Reigns doesn't even win the championship there. And honestly, the rules of the steel cage match have always been whoever's feet touch the ground first is the winner of the match. Roman Reigns spears Brock through the cage, and yes, Brock's body hit the ground first, but Roman's feet touched first. So technically, by WWE logic, Roman Reigns was the winner, and he didn't even win the championship. And because Brock was part-time, he would leave after that, and they had to continue to put Roman in feuds after that on television because he was still a full-time performer. So who do they put him in a feud with after this? I can't make this up. Jinder Mahal, bro. Jinder Mahal. They put him in a feud with Jinder Mahal, who was another guy that was not well liked by majority of the audience. They thought that Roman Reigns, putting him in a feud with Jinder Mahal would, I guess, kind of help propel him as a babyface even more. Nope. The fans still booed him. Even against Jinder Mahal, he couldn't even get cheered over Jinder Mahal in 2018. I can't make this up. But then that would lead to Bobby Lashley having a feud with Roman Reigns after this, and that was very interesting because Bobby Lashley in 2018 made his return to WWE the night after WrestleMania, and Roman Reigns obviously was still valuable to the company, and they were still trying to make him the top guy, so it was like, okay, who wins this feud? What's going to happen here? Then at Extreme Rules, shockingly, Bobby Lashley pins and beats Roman Reigns clean, 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring, and I think in most people's minds, we thought, maybe they're going to switch directions here. Maybe they're going to do Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley for the Universal Championship, which at that time frame was still the big dream match that we all wanted. Now, granted, if we knew we were going to get the matches that we got between the two, we probably wouldn't have asked for it. But at the time, we still didn't know what the match could be like. And that was still a match that we had been asking for years. And we're thinking, okay, Brock technically has beat Roman twice. Okay, maybe they're going to switch gears and give Bobby Lashley the opportunity. And Bobby Lashley was still a fan favorite among the time frame, had just returned to WWE, had the size, strength, believability, everything to check off every single box to be a guy that you can match up against Brock Lesnar, who was believable enough to beat him. Okay, Bobby versus Brock, we're all in. But then WWE logic strikes again because they had Roman Reigns versus Bobby Lashley in a number one contenders match on Raw where Roman Reigns beats Bobby Lashley clean in the middle of the ring. But why do they even have the number one contenders match to begin with? Why? Like, Bobby Lashley had already just beat Roman Reigns. Why not just give Bobby Lashley the number one contender spot after he just beat Roman straight up? Or make that match at Extreme Rules a number one contenders match. Like, they did the number one contenders match after Bobby Lashley beat Roman Reigns, proving that he could beat Roman, just for Roman Reigns to win the bigger overall match to go on to face Brock Lesnar again in 2018 at SummerSlam. And then at SummerSlam, Roman Reigns finally beats Brock Lesnar, which we all knew was the agenda anyway, and we knew WWE wanted to do it, and they finally did it. And then Roman would go into a feud against Braun Strowman because Braun Strowman had the Money in the Bank, and he announced that he was going to cash in the Money in the Bank at Hell in a Cell, inside of a Hell in a Cell match. Now, usually we know whoever holds Money in the Bank, they usually, wait for a smart opportunity when the champion is vulnerable to cash in, but because Braun Strowman was so dominant and believable, he didn't really have to cash in that way, and he's already proven that he could beat Roman Reigns in big matches on multiple occasions. So you're like, alright, you know what? That's cool. He announces the cash in, let's do it in a Hell in a Cell match. We don't know what's going to happen, but we're interested. How does WWE end this match? Brock Lesnar! Once again, bro, Brock Lesnar was like a cancer to WWE around this time frame. I swear, bro. Like, Brock Lesnar comes out and does something that's unthinkable that you never thought you would ever see in WWE history, bro. He kicks down the door and he beats up both Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman inside the Hell in a Cell. And then the bell rings and the match is over and it ends in a no contest. A Hell in a Cell ended in a no contest because one guy came out and beat up both guys and now they're unable to compete. Mind you, we watched Hell in a Cell matches where there were like bloodbaths, wars inside Hell in a Cell matches. We saw a man get thrown off the damn cell and then chokeslam through the cell all in one match. If there was really any time they could have stopped the Hell in a Cell match that people would have understood and not complained about, it was that match right there. Mankind versus Undertaker, Hell in a Cell, King of the Ring, 1998. If they had stopped that Hell in a Cell match after Mick Foley got thrown off the cage, nobody would have batted an eye. We would have understood. But they didn't even stop that match. But you stop a match where two guys got beat up by one guy and now they're unable to compete, bro. It's a Hell in a Cell. And then we know, unfortunately, in very sad news, Roman would announce that his leukemia would come back and he, would have to go be battling cancer and everything and have to give up the Universal Championship and he would be going away for a little bit. And then by the praise of God, Roman Reigns was able to beat the leukemia and go in remission and he would come back, right before WrestleMania for that match against Drew McIntyre. Now we're in the year 2019 and the booking doesn't get better for Roman Reigns because then they put him in a feud with Shane McMahon. And Drew McIntyre was added to that as well, but they put him in a feud with Shane McMahon. And Shane McMahon beat Roman Reigns at a pay-per-view in Saudi Arabia, the Super Showdown in 2019. Why is Shane McMahon beating Roman Reigns at all? Roman Reigns is supposed to be your number one top guy. He's supposed to be the higher echelon that you value, right? And we get there were times when he was champion, not champion, maybe some other people, were kind of filling that spot for him or whatever. Maybe he was injured or whatever the case may be, right? But in no scenario, if you ask me, should Shane McMahon be beating Roman Reigns in any type of match with help or not? And to add on to that, Roman Reigns in a calendar year lost pay-per-view matches to Shane McMahon, Eric Rowan, and King Corbin. These were three guys who were not on Roman Reigns' level at that time frame. I'm sorry, but Shane McMahon, he don't need to be beating somebody like Roman Reigns, bro. He does not need to be beating somebody like Roman Reigns. Eric Rowan is cool, but him beating Roman Reigns was kind of crazy, too. I'm not going to lie to you. I know the storyline they were telling was a little different, but still, that was kind of crazy. And then in King Corbin, bro, people were so done with Baron Corbin at this time frame due to his booking, too. Him beating Roman Reigns, honestly, it kind of really divided Roman a little bit. I'm not going to hold you.